Here's my review of the Penguin Season 1 finale. This show was just fantastic. And I think it just shows how people often talk about superhero movie fatigue, comic book movie fatigue. And for many times, I believe that does not exist. It's bad comic book movie fatigue, bad superhero movie fatigue, show, whatever. Because this is not only a great comic book show, but just a great show. There is so much emotion with Oz, and I think we know that like this show doesn't try to make him sympathetic, and he's not. You still kind of hate him because he is a terrible person, but he's just such a fascinating character, and that's what makes Batman villains so interesting as opposed to like making like I don't like what Sony's doing. Even though Spider-Man villains, I think, much more work only with their attachment to Spider-Man, but because of who Penguin and a lot of other Batman villains are, they can work, I think, on their own. And in here, like we get a beautiful scene, like with him and his mom as she's dying, and like I said, you feel bad that she's dying, but and you almost feel bad for him, even though we hate him. And it's such a fascinating concept. And many people were predicting it. Will Oz kill Victor? And because they've had a very interesting relationship, because throughout the show we've seen like he could have killed him at the beginning and he didn't. And you could kind of even always tell though that Oz doesn't really care about Victor because like I said, he's a terrible person. All he cares about is himself and maybe his mother. And he does kill him. Like part of me was kind of in shock when he strangled Victor to death. And I love that this show did that and is willing to just take those creative risks and just go for it. And as for Sophia, I mean, she was one of the best characters in the show. And I will say, like, we know, like, the reveal, though, which is something I honestly never really put together, though, is like that this reveal is that she's, like, the half-sister of Catwoman is very interesting because they're so different. Although Catwoman in the Batman is, I mean, she was a thief, but she wasn't, like, a terrible person. Like, Sophia is a psychopath, and she literally just burns down her own mansion at the end of the show, and it's just like, it's insane. She's such a great character. Like I said, I think what the show does so well, and what I feel like should be the most important thing of any show, movie, like story, book, anything, is characters should be at the forefront. A bad show or movie has the story pushing the characters, and a good movie or show has the characters pushing the story. And when we have a character as compelling as Oz, it works wonders. And our story here is also great. And at the end, you're just like, I will say though, I don't think that he is going to be the main villain for the Batman 2. But part of me wonders if they're saving him for the Batman 3. But I don't know. Because like as much as I love this show, it's great. I would find it kind of weird if they did this whole show building him up as this criminal gangster of the underworld, and then like not have him be a main villain of a Batman movie. But part of me is like, you know what? I can kind of like that idea. Maybe he's literally just in there pulling the strings. But overall, though, I don't really have much else to say. I thought this show was fantastic. I think that the acting was great. And I mean, Colin Farrell, I mean, like, he's so good. I mean, he needs to win an Emmy for this show because he is just that. All the performances are great. But yeah, I'm just kind of blabbering on at this point. I think that this show was fantastic. I think it is one of the best shows of the year. I definitely put it in the top 5. And yeah, it was great.